Queensland, second largest of the 6 Australian states. Its northern region is tropical, its southern region temperate and well developed. Between the two, astride the Tropic of Capricorn, lies Central Queensland, a region part tropical, part temperate, and only now beginning to feel its strength. Along the tropic itself runs Central Queensland's main artery of communications. From Rockhampton in the east to Longreach in the west, the branches from north and south feed into the main road, rail and air link. Travel that link and you'll see much of the variety of the country and the men of Capricorn. West of Longreach, cattle country, and the cattlemen loading a consignment for the long journey to the markets of the coast. The journey is long and wearing. Miles lose their meaning. Hours are the measure. The eye and the ear search for relief, for any break in the monotony. A city sound, a city machine. Characteristically, the country has adopted it, put it to work on the sheep stations. Like all machines, it has limitations. It isn't likely to take over from the horse and dog. They alone can achieve that individual contact which links master and beast in a single purpose. Sheep, Australia's greatest money spinner. And there's no exception to the rule here. The settlers and squatters of the last century pushed inland, found the natural grasses right, and got down to the job of building up their flocks. The weather's warm all the year round, so there's practically no closed season for shearing. The shearers of today have their own circuits, moving sometimes by the plane load from station to station. They follow their father's tradition, but the old-style methods are being replaced by more efficient ones, such as the long, swift strokes of the tally-high technique. The bale weighs 300 pounds, and it's 18 tons to the load. The woolman calls on the tractor, the truck, and later from Longreach, the locomotive. But first, along the tropic artery, the road. And the driver's aim to get his truck rolling in the cool of the morning, and pull in at Longreach before the noon sun bakes the highway. East into the morning sun along the line of the tropic to the railhead at Longreach. Shire Centre, Market Town. Longreach is many things to many people. The pictures, the shops, the railway. The end of the driver's run and beginning of the next stage for his load of wool. This is the place where a man can work off a 100-mile thirst, with his responsibility handed over to the railmen. Along the tropic line moving east from Longreach, the countryside runs flat and treeless to the horizon. The rail track driving fast and true through the broad open sheep country. Next stop along the line is Barcaldine, 370 miles from the coast, typically a centre for a community of country people. Quiet, familiar, informal. But the country's changing, developing, diversifying. Oil is there, waiting for the strike. And the old country names, Arcturus Downs, Snake Creek, Lake Galilee, play host to a new kind of man, doing a new kind of job. Theirs is a concentrated world of special skills and high-speed operations. Only when the time for smoko comes can they pause to remember their isolation. One of the occasional beads strung far apart along that central line. But more beads are being strung the whole time. The gaps are being filled in. New settlers for a new scheme. The Brigalow scheme. 8 million acres of Brigalow tree scrub. Huge lease-expired areas subdivided and allotted by ballot to selected pioneer families. This is the real thing. Tented homes, virgin land, and the chance to found a family tradition. To clear the scrub, to reclaim the nitrogen-rich black soil for cultivation. That is the aim of the Brigalow scheme. The first step calls for another group of new faces, the Brigalow pullers, the men who mount their huge machines to rip and gouge the land clear. This is destruction for a purpose. The leveled scrub to be burnt out and grass seed sown from the air into the ash, just before the summer rains. owners of the big established stations have already proved that the land will carry cattle. Now they're developing new strains to suit the climate, bringing in exotic breeds like the Brahman for their ability to flourish in subtropical conditions, and crossing them with quality beef cattle. The herds are spread widely over the properties. Vehicles and horses alike are on the move all the time, keeping the station's business going. With so much to handle over so large an area, and with his coastal markets hundreds of miles away, the cattleman often takes to the air. He views his own property and traverses others in his flight along the tropic line. Not all pastoral, this is mining country too. The Mara mine, where open cut work brings out coal for steel making. Change of shift at Mara. A one-man shift for the dragline, a mechanical monster whose job is to expose the coal by cutting away the overburden. 40 tons at a mouthful. Nearer the coast, another coal mine, Callide open cut. Plenty of coal for the new Calcap electric power station, set up in the middle of the bush by a convenient water supply. Construction workers play their part. More power for the development of Central Queensland. Further on the eastward run, the flight passes over Mount Morgan, an inappropriate name now, for a century of mining has turned the mountain inside out. The tapping pick of the Morgan brothers, which revealed this wealth in 1862, has given way to the roar of machinery and the staff of mine workers combining to produce an output of minerals measured by the thousands of tons. The mine works around the clock. Truck drivers could almost drive their 20-ton loads blindfold from ore bench to crusher. In the smelter, other men, other skills. The team turns out a steady flow of blister copper. copper, gold and silver, still alloyed, ready for transport along the last stretch of the line to the coast. It's a short journey now for the train, and just a hop by air. Rockhampton. For those who come from the interior, a place for time off. And if you're meeting a visitor, it's a place to show off. Rockhampton, regional capital with its tropical trees for shade and beauty. The end of the line, the tropic line, the Tropic of Capricorn. Gracemere sail yards, the common terminal of those long journeys from the interior and the cattlemen's meeting place.
Good black water there, boys. The two bully bullocks here. Would you like to give me somewhere around about 33 or 4 quid from? 33 quid from. 23 pound, 3 and 30 quid of 33 pound, the two tailor bullocks. 33 quid of 3 and 30 pound, 33 quid of 3 and 30 pound. Tell me out of 33 pound of 5, 33 and 5, 10 of this.
Nearby, too, another and unusual source of wealth. From 60 feet below the flats of the Fitzroy River Delta, they bring up brine 2.5 times more salty than seawater. Men and machines, both needing extra lubrication in the salt atmosphere and the tropical sun. Stockpiling and evaporation, a hill of white salt crystals. Then south to the thriving town and busy port of Gladstone. Here they take the Maura coal from the rail trucks, bulk load it into cargo ships, and send it off to the overseas buyers, thousands of tons at a time. The coast is the outlet, the end of the line for coal, minerals, beef and travellers. It's the entry point too, the beginning of the tropic line into the heart of Central Queensland. The tropic is the lifeline, and the life along it is as varied as the men themselves. The driver of the cattle train, the driver of the wool truck, the shearer, the brigalow pullers, the men who hollow out a mountain or bring up wealth from below the ground. Their country has natural resources in many forms, and they, in their various ways and with their various skills, are tapping them, revealing them, developing them. These are the men of Capricorn.